Why'd you have to start it?
You trying to curse our viewers? What is wrong with you? I try to do a funny bit, and then you try to curse us all.
Well, it's not Danhausen here. You are cursed. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this week. We're running a little late because we just got out of a production meeting for our independent film. It's the three of us tonight because half the team is very busy. So I'm going to... Nah, I don't like this view.
No, this is bad. Yeah.
Let's go back to this view. So we got some topics to cover. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic week. I know it's been a little light movie-wise in the theaters. Odyssey came out. It's about 3 hours long. We were just talking about it. I'm the only one that's seen it on the channel. So it's a good movie. Braveheart's still the pinnacle of success for me when it comes to those type of films. But my real negative for the Odyssey is that the fight scenes, I was just telling Marcus before we jumped on air, is that the fight scenes could have been better. They should have been a little bit wider so you can see more action going on there. Should have been some blood in there. It just felt like a PG-13 style fighting, right? It's almost like 18 type of stuff. So
honestly, but if you think back and really think back to Nolan's movies, is there blood ever?
I don't think so.
Even in Dark Knight,
no.
I don't.
Insomnia, yeah, it was blood in Insomnia. But that was about it.
Yeah, it's not his thing. I mean, to be fair though, also he also works in specific color tones because he's colorblind. He has a color, so he uses blues and grays and stuff like that. So maybe he also just doesn't use blood for that reason. Maybe it's because I don't know.
It's not always needed. It's not always needed, but I felt that it was missing.
Yeah,
I felt it was missing.
This movie's based around the Roman Empire. No, the Greek Empire. I don't remember
it. It's Greek mythology.
I don't know, man. I didn't read any of this shit. That's why I didn't go see it.
Yeah,
and it was about the fall of Troy and him trying to get back home.
The story is very interesting. It's a very slow start to the entire film and get going, but man, that payoff at the end, that payoff is good. That payoff is real good.
I've seen one clip. So they said Agamemnon had that he was just ore farming in his armor, and I saw the shot of him in his black armor and stuff. I don't know who the actor is playing Agamemnon, but it was a cool shot though.
Yeah.
But with what you were saying, though, Nolan has never quite, when it comes to fighting sequences, I'll go all the way back to Batman Begins, where I know in Batman Begins, he said particularly he wanted to hide Batman's movements, even though he was using the Casey fighting method, which is what Tom Cruise uses in his movies. And they used it in Troy for Brad Pitt. But again, we saw every movement in Troy, with Brad Pitt, so it would have been nice, I'm going to go see the movie tomorrow, but it would have been nice.
You got to pay for that experience in the 40X. That's the thing. You want to see all of it, you got to
pay. Oh, yeah, I'm going to see it. Yeah, I'm going to see it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
he's rubbing it in. So Sarah joins us. She says hello, but she's the same. So Odyssey was good, but yes, more intense fighting would have been cool. But that being said, it was good.
But doesn't the Trojan horse, the events of the Trojan horse, take place in Rome?
No, sure.
I'm pretty sure, but
it's in Troy.
While he's looking that up, King Matthew, enjoy your family movie night or just your movie marathon that you got going on. So we'll catch up to you another time. All right. Did you guys find it? Or we can move over to our next topic?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right. So, some big news dropped this week, and it almost seems like Freddy versus Jason was happening all over again with two announcements happening on the same day. But we'll talk about Crystal Lake and Freddy towards the end of the show. We have two topics in front of it. The first topic is going to be, they did it. You all knew it was coming, kind of annoyed by it. But so the Conjuring, the First Communion has been announced. So The Conjuring First Communion is a prequel movie to the Conjuring universe where we're getting a young version of the Warrens.
I thought they were making a TV show out of that.
And they are making a TV show on top of that too. Yes, you are.
Are they using the same actor from the
No,
movie to
they have new actors that are being lined up for it. So Deadline is reporting that Garrett Waring from Ransom Canyon and Amanda Fix from Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miyamasa or something like that will play the young versions of Ed and Lorraine Warren. So they got new casting for the Ed and Lorraine as younger.
My take on this is I recognized him when I looked up these actors. I recognized him from The Long Walk. He was in The Long Walk as well. Her, I've never seen anything she was in, but she does kind of favor Vera Farmiga with the wide eyes, you know. But I'm like, why are we still celebrating these two people? Like,
yeah, exactly. Why are we still celebrating the scam artists?
Yeah.
Now to make it even better, because they made tons of money on a very, very bad film. I'm sorry if anybody really enjoyed The Last Rite, but I thought The Last Rite was a very poorly done movie. But so the script is from Rich Nang and Ian Goldberg. So they did The Conjuring, The Last Rites. They did The Nun 2, and they also
the worst of the two nuns.
Get this though, Noah. You're gonna really appreciate this. Ian Goldberg was a co-showrunner on Fear of the Walking Dead. So it's just like
at what point?
At what point? Because I will say the first 2 seasons of Fear of the Walking Dead were decent. You know, but after that, it just
everything up until Morgan's introduction, was like it was going somewhere. So like, where did he get introduced?
It fell off even before that too.
It fell off like going into season 3.
Yeah,
the first 2 seasons were solid, and then after they went to that one compound and the hotel. Remember they were in a hotel, trapped in a hotel. Yeah. After that, it just went like after the whole dam thing, you know, still in the water. It just went downhill.
Well, them also killing off Trevor was kind of stupid. But I agree with you about the season 3 thing because Morgan didn't come on until the series season 4 premiere. But I liked everything that they were doing, and then they kill off pretty much all their top major characters. Yeah, I don't know, but
exactly. That's my thoughts when I was like, no more Conjuring films, no more.
Here's the thing, right? Like, it shouldn't stress me out because I'm not gonna go see it, right?
I think I'm at that point. Like, I think I'm at that point where I'm not going to go see the next Conjuring movie in theaters because the last 2 just really disappointed. They the first 2 parts in that series and the last 2 parts are just completely different when it comes to scariness, the way it's shot and everything like that. I'm just done with it.
Well, I still tell everybody like the first 2 Conjuring films and Annabelle Creation were the 3 best films in the entire franchise, and then the first Nun was decent. I enjoyed the first film. But outside of those 4 films, everything has been.
I like the original Annabelle. I think it's a good scare, like a good.
It was okay, but Annabelle Creation was like just god tier.
I really think I have to go back and watch Annabelle Creation.
Yeah,
because I don't remember having positive reviews on watching it, but I've only seen it once, and it was like years ago, so I'll have to go back and rewatch it. But
it's $1 billion franchise, so I see why they're coming back to it. But it's like to me, this is like the Resident Evil franchise with whatever her name is in it. It's just like you got like 7 films on it. They're horrible, but people are still going out and paying for it. So there are people that love
the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. To answer the previous question, we were both Marcus and I were both wrong. It's modern day Turkey. The reason I thought it was Rome is because like I thought I learned that it was in Rome, and then I looked it up. Was this in Rome? And it's like, yes, it's in Rome. And then because it's taking me links to say it's in Rome, and then you look it up in a different way, and then it sends you different links. Like I hate Google, man. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's Turkey.
I don't want to stay on the Odyssey thing too long.
I'm just talking about like because we were looking it up. It's in modern day Turkey for those.
We have an interesting comment that Sarah put out there that I don't want to touch on. So the Smurl case could have been their only one that was real. So that's probably why the warrant stopped after that case. Funny story, Sarah. The Smurl family has a business in our area. and there's a sign right across the street from my house for their business. We live maybe 20 minutes from the location of the Smurl house.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but it's good to know that we live near there.
Yeah, so the basis
the family from the last movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
So the basis of the fourth film is based on a house that's in, I think, Pittston, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I thought they said Pittsburgh.
No, Pittston. Yep.
Yeah, Pittston.
So, and I just I see the sign every day when I go on a walk for the Smurl family. So it's like, it just brings me to that movie.
And the sad part about it, it was an interesting story, but they just brutalized it. Like the execution of it, like the original family and the abusive husband and the crazy mother-in-law and stuff. Like, it was an interesting story, but nothing came out of that movie, and it was just poorly executed. It was just poor writing.
And that was their last case?
Yeah. Before
I don't even think they were involved with it that
over.
long either. I think they glorified how big their role was in it, just like they did with the second Conjuring film. CG just checked in with us. He's heading out to go see the movie, The Odyssey. Enjoy that.
I'm curious, because you would have to imagine, right, that yes, they were making that shit up, but they went to Amityville. Like, are we all gonna say that? Yes, we know that they made it up, but are we gonna say Amityville didn't have ghosts in it and it's not haunted in some capacity? Because they went there. They went there.
Yeah, they went there, and the backstory for the Amityville horror house is, sure, the events happened with Robert DeFeo, with him killing his family there.
Yeah.
But the family that bought the house afterwards, what the true story behind it is that one late night drinking bender with the lawyer, they came up with the idea of having hauntings there and all that stuff. And
I know that about that whole story, but I guess yeah. If we don't with that, it kind of makes it hard to figure out if there's actually been real sightings at that house. Then who knows? But they also did a documentary on it too.
Yeah, they've done a lot of things. So so Sarah brings up good points. With the last family that lived there that had a case at Amityville, there had been no further cases after that particular family moved out. It's the same thing with the Conjuring house. Yeah, nothing has happened at the Conjuring house since that family has left as well.
And didn't they say it was bullshit that the house in Amityville was built over native land? I
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that was bullshit.
Sarah, you can collect and share Fear of Facts with us all the time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, because I didn't know that. I don't know the inner workings of all of the behind the scenes of all. I know that it's all kind of bullshit with Ed and Lorraine, but I don't know the inner workings of it. So that's interesting.
I know, with Ed and Lorraine, so there was when all the paranormal shows took off, in the mid 2000s, at Ghost Hunters, and then we had Ghost Adventurers. There was Paranormal Society. So Paranormal Society was run by a guy that would bring psychics onto the investigations, and they bring him in blindfolded, and they wouldn't tell him any information and stuff like that. And Lorraine Warren was always on there as one of the psychics that should be going there and she'd start figuring out stuff, right? And it's a cute old lady. It's oh man, maybe she knows something. But then the lead investigator got busted for committing scams and fraud outside of that show, not related to ghost stuff, but he was doing fraudulent stuff outside of that. So it's she's tied to another fraudulent thing. And so it just, I wanted to do a video on the channel where we're going over the 5 best Warren cases that haven't been made into movies that should be made into movies. But as I was doing the digging and the research for those, I started finding out all the true stuff that was behind it. Like The Nun. The Nun is not based on an actual nun. So it's it's made up. Valak in The Nun is not based on anything. It's just based on a myth that there was a nun there that Lorraine Warren saw the one time. But it was tied to some sort of rectory, a church rectory that had burnt down many years ago. That was tied to somebody else that was committing scams, that he was going out there and just rigging it to be haunted and stuff like that. So all their cases are tied to stuff that has been debunked. And they've been... What you see in the movies playing out with their question is actually happening because everything that they were doing was debunked.
Shout out to Bonnie Andrews. Oh, she was great as Belle. And she's cool as hell.
Oh, yeah. I thought The Nun was scarier in the Conjuring movies, and then when it switched over to her own films, it just It was gone.
Yeah,
Everything left.
Mhm.
So the first Nun is beautifully shot, and like it reminds me of a Universal horror movie, like from back in the day in the 30s and stuff like that. It's amazing to look at, but it's not scary.
Thaisa was great.
Yeah.
But am I pronouncing her name right? Yeah, Thaisa.
And Sarah says she loves our channel. Thank you. We love that you're here and you participate. All right, so our next topic we're going to talk about. So now we're going to pretty much go into the realm of remakes and everything. So I remember working back in Blockbuster, and one guy's like, "Oh, you're not a horror fan if you don't know about the Re-Animator." So I've grown out of that perspective since then. But so the Re-Animator first looks. So we have our actor that is in this. Yeah,
Klaus Mickelson. That's my boy.
Right, so he was in the originals, and they're pretty. Oh no, I'm looking at somebody different. So we have first shot here, and then we have another shot of the lead actress in it. So the original screenplay and storyline is from Jade Sandberg Wallace. Michael Grossman from the originals and Pretty Liars is directing. And the background on the story is, as a child, Herbert West watches his father, Peter, reanimate his dead mother, Judith, in a secret basement lab, only for Judith to mortally wound Peter and nearly kill Herbert before Peter shoots her. The trauma leaves its mark on Herbert, but so does one final image, his mother's finger twitching after death. 30 years later, Herbert West is brilliant, secretive surgeon, still chasing his father's obsession.
Again, I said this off camera to you, Dave. Like, I'm a fan of that actor, even though I haven't watched Vampire Diaries and originals and legacies and stuff. I know clips of Klaus, and dude is a beast of an actor in that role. So I'm okay with his casting, as Herbert. But I'm just not a fan of the idea of Re-Animator being remade, And I remember the one, I don't know if you remember the one that they want to do with Herbert West as a woman. Yeah. And I was okay with that. But the story itself was just like, when I read the synopsis of that story, I was like, I'm glad that project fell apart. And then reading this description, I'm not too fond of this description of the story.
Yeah.
But again, I like the actor, so I'm willing to give it a shot.
So my stance on remakes is, if technology has advanced, will improve the movie, then you should go ahead and make a remake, right? If you want to modernize the story to fit in with the times so that it's more relevant. We'll bring Marcus back in a second. He probably just crashed again. Then you can go ahead and remake the film as well. Now, with this one, where I find it's particularly hard is Jeffrey Combs, right? Jeffrey Combs, I think, is the Re-Animator. He is Herbert West. Replacing him and the presence that he brings is pretty tough. So, no, what's your thoughts?
I think it would make more sense to. Well, I agree with you, but regardless, I think it would make more sense to cast the only person that's played the character in sequel movies while he's still acting. Because we know that he's still actively acting, and he would most likely do it if they asked him to. And we've talked about the sequels of him working under the presidency, like that would be interesting. But like just in general, getting sequels with Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs. Getting Jeffrey Combs coming back as Herbert West for Re-Animator sequels, regardless of what the story is, to me makes more sense than them making. Is this supposed to be a show or something?
No, this is a new film.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I don't need it. Like I don't need an origin story for Herbert West and his traumatic childhood. I really I don't think that doesn't matter for me to understand the character. He's a sarcastic, nihilistic, sociopath who has odd but potentially good intentions. Like that's the character. That's pretty much it. Like he wants to further science and prove that death is a lie, and is pretty lackadaisical about going about it, proving that point. Like I just think that Jeffrey Combs would make more sense to have Jeffrey Combs come back than it would to, especially since we know that he's acting still, and then it would to make this thing. So I'm not gonna go see it.
You know, my thing too. This actor, and it just hit me now that I think about it. I might change my mind now about the casting because of the fact that the way Jeffrey played Herbert, man, was like how Noah said it, where he was like nihilistic. He was very sarcastic, but yet very off-putting and kind of nerdy. Where this actor, now that I think about it, I can't see him not be suave and cool, you know, because everything I've seen him in, he always conveys that confidence, that, you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, I can't, unless they're going like a totally different route with her.
You have to. I'm sorry, like Jeffrey Combs may not be a household name, but it's very hard to follow his performance because he is so damn good in stuff that he does. Like even you look at him as one of the Lockwoods in the Stream movie, fantastic.
Or even in that Michael J. Fox movie, whatchamacallit, Frighteners.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Would You Rather, another one.
He's the Rat King in one of the animated Ninja Turtle shows, and he does a great job.
And I loved him, and I still know what you did last summer because he was the manager at the resort.
Yeah, so he's in that own class of him. Like you got Robert Englund that's in this class, you got Bruce Campbell, that they're in their own class when they've portrayed these roles. I'm sorry, Noah?
A Horror Walk of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. That I think if you were to talk about Mount Rushmores of actors, there's 3 of them that are going right up there because you can't follow them up in their performances that they've done. Now,
yeah, I don't know about this one. Like, this might be way too straight. You know, catch a street.
And then I'm a little biased because having talked to Barbara Crampton a few months ago, she had talked about how they approached her and Jeffrey to be in the film, but they were very small roles. So it's like, they were offended. There's like, you know, like that franchise is us, and you want to give us like a bit cameo.
I would have loved it if what was the evil doctor name in the first one? I forgot. He was the talking head, the boss.
Yep.
If Jeffrey came back and he was the boss, I would have been totally fine with that because he would have been perfect for it, you know, with his acting. But yeah, since they're not going that route, then yeah.
I guess we'll see. What happens with that. So yeah. All right, so moving right along, we're going to talk some Friday the 13th. So on the same day that they announced Nightmare on Elm Street is coming back, Crystal Lake dropped its teaser trailer. I don't know if you boys had a chance to watch it. What's your thoughts of it?
I personally, I love Linda Cardellini, so I pretty much watch everything that she's in anyway. But I guess the way it was edited and cut, I'm actually excited for it. I'll still hold my, thoughts on it when they do a full trailer and after catching the pilot episode. But I have confidence in her as far as being Pamela, because Linda is she's an awesome actress. Man. So I am excited for her. I'm just curious to see the story built around this, and are they going to focus on her slow descent into madness, or are they going to jump right into it?
It's 8 episodes. All 8 episodes drop on October 15th, which is a Thursday. So we may be able to all bang that out and be able to talk about that right on our Sunday, right afterwards. Yeah. But it's taking place a year after the events of Jason drowning, which we see her jumping into the water, whether it's a dream that she's jumping into the water to go after him, or that's actually what happens at that point. But apparently at some point, there's people that are coming in to investigate her and her ties to his death. And then that's what kind of sets her off.
Okay.
Again, I feel like if they could pull this off the way Bates Motel handled the lore, then I'm all for it because I love Bates Motel. So I'm hoping they could pull something off with this.
So I got some shots here. So I'm going to go pull some shots up. So no, I don't know if you've seen these yet. So we got this one right here.
The sweater.
Yep. There's the sweater. This looks like the end of season 8, the first season, maybe. We have this one right here. her as the the cook. We've got the classic
You
sign.
can already tell that she's presenting herself differently with the body language and the stills too.
Yeah, let's go back and look at that. Yeah.
Like you can I don't know, you can just for me I can just tell that she's gonna have a different vocal inflection and she's going to just act differently than what we typically get in her in certain movies. So I don't know. That's a cool shot.
Yeah, that's a cool shot. You can see how depressed she is in this shot.
Yeah.
I'll have to go watch.
Curious to see though. Are we going to get Elias in this? Because I didn't see him cast in IMDb yet. So
there is now there is a shot of her going a little manic right before it cuts to the end. So I am interested in seeing it.
Do we think she ends the first season cutting her hair and giving herself the
short hair?
Yeah,
possible.
Yeah,
possible.
Look, I don't know if it's out there. It's like, how many seasons are they looking to go with Crystal Lake, right?
Did they? I don't know. Did they specify?
I don't know. I'm gonna take a look here and see if that's really out there. Crystal Lake series targets how many seasons? Let's see.
Well, even though I'm not a fan of the ownership behind Paramount, they're not known for canceling shows quick. So
yeah,
their shows go on for a little bit.
We've gotten a wave of really good legacy. I'll call them the legacy horror TV shows as of late. Linda Cardellini, great actress. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this, man. When they first announced it, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna watch it, right? But like the more that they talk about, the more that they release, and the more that they talk about the show, the more interested I become in it. And especially after watching Welcome to Derry and Alien Earth, because when they first announced it, I don't think I had seen either, or either were out yet. So after seeing what we've gotten right now in TV, and horror TV specifically, I think that they're gonna try and do it justice, just so they can compete with Welcome to Derry and Alien Earth and be able to keep it going for a couple seasons as well. Because I mean, like, even if you want to include Fallout, because that's an adaptation, I feel like I don't know why. I feel like I want to kind of throw it in the same category, not exactly the same, but like they're all doing so well. TV shows are doing I just feel like they're doing really well right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the show is going to offer. If it disappoints, I'm going to be real upset, and I won't. Yeah, I don't know if I could forgive it, but I have high hopes for this. Movies, movies I'm iffy about this year, but movies I've been iffy about for the past few years. But I don't know, shows I'm not really scared. I'm not really scared of not liking, because most of the shit I watch is pretty good. Even the lesser.
As a fan of Friday the 13th, as my second favorite franchise, my fingers are crossed like hell. I got them tattooed on my arm. Well, you can't really see it, but yeah, I got Jason right there.
Don't worry, I got you, bro.
Looking at the mask, so.
I got you, bro.
See, so no, I'm excited for it, man, because I hope that they at least pull some material from the comic books, because the comic books really dive into Pamela's lore more than Jason, and there's so much good material in the comic books that they could pull from, that this could go on for at least a good 4 seasons. So yeah, fingers crossed, man. I hope that is good.
I got a couple questions for you guys on this. So one, if this is not a good TV series, does it kill the chances of a film coming out anytime soon?
Nah, because they're anxious to get a film out, and they'll probably rush even more to get the film out now that the whole rights stuff is supposedly worked out with this Jason universe, to erase, whether if this is bad or not, so.
They are coming up on a 50th anniversary, so I think that would be their key target date to get a film up and running.
Yeah,
but I mean, hell, even it's finally on Amazon now. You got to buy it, but like Noah was saying, horror TV shows and adaptations have been great, because hell, even the Scream series was good. Maybe not the 3rd season, but the first 2 seasons were great.
The 3rd season was fantastic, but I still liked it.
It was okay. I was glad Tony Todd was in there and they went back to the original costume, but that was about it.
It was a good you threw it on in the background. The first two seasons, yeah, I mean it also sucks you going into it and it's like it's all different. Like it was just completely different, so it kind of just throws you out of it.
Mm-hmm. Now,
yeah, fingers crossed.
Now, do you guys want to see us end up with her having the Necronomicon, and she brings Jason back? Would that be a nice, interesting twist on the show?
Well,
I don't know if I want her or I want them to adapt Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, and Freddy does with the Necronomicon like in the comics. I don't know. I could go either way.
And I know that Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street, this new movie is also being produced by Paramount. I would say it'd be great to at least see it in the show in some capacity to potentially tie us into doing a universe with, at the very least, Freddy again. And I don't know who's making Hellraiser movies, but just throw him in there. Like it makes sense to throw him in the universe. Ash, I mean, supposedly the Evil Dead universe is done with Ash, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But I will say it's very interesting to see Freddy and Jason under the same umbrella. That's really weird. But it does really stir up some childlike giddy in the tummy, right? It's like, are they gonna do it, guys?
Like, are we gonna finally get Freddy vs. Jason verse? Well, we can't use Ash anymore, but we can use his daughter or the other two characters from the show.
Yeah, it'd be nice to. Let's look at that real quick before we start talking about Friday the 13th. Like, where is Evil Dead Burn right now at the box office? Let's take a look here. Let's find that. Hopefully, I don't freeze up my screen because I'm looking this up.
I would be honestly I would love for them to build a bigger universe because you have so many ways to connect all these other past and present horror icons into the Necronomicon and the world or the underworld, so to speak, because of their ties to in the movie, like Michael Myers, Sam from Trick or Treat, Hellraiser, Freddy, Ash. It's butter. It's bread and butter.
I just hope if we do get that, though, as long as we don't go with the look from the comics of Jason when he was resurrected by the Necronomicon, where he had the long blonde hair, looking all like Fabio-ish. Like it was just, that was crazy.
I do think that like Jason's probably not a Deadite, but he is something. I like you could definitely tie him to something in the Necronomicon that
like Jason being human, man. I like Jason being human from parts 2 through 4 in the remake. Like I like
even
him
just even just like it resurrects his body of some kind, so that's why he's more, I guess, invulnerable to certain things. But like I think it would be interesting that if it, instead of it like him like being in Deadeye, they just resurrected him instead of it. Like I don't know.
So more Pet Cemetery like than being a Deadeye.
Because you also got we also keep in mind like in part 6 he actually gets resurrected with the like Frankenstein, so like he would have to be like in the realm of like not truly human to be able to do, like to my understanding, everyone else in the world is human. They're not gonna get electrocuted with a rod in their chest and then be brought back from the dead, and also have your organs grow back and all that stuff like his did. So I
like the theory that that's where he was brought back as a Deadite, is on that whole scene there.
6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it was with lightning, not with a Necronomicon.
I always thought the Deadeye thing was more so part 9 than part 6.
Well, in part 9, yeah, because they had the Necronomicon, but he wasn't human in part 6. Like as soon as part 6 hit, he wasn't human. He was undead. But
yeah, he became a zombie dead.
It would, honestly, I would say that you can make it work for part 6 by saying that in the same area is the people that are like there's Ash or the wise men or whatever doing a seance of some kind, and that resurrects Jason in the process or whatever. You can do something, whatever.
Well, so a deleted scene, and I don't know how true it was, but they showed the scene. Was remember the what do they call it, the caregiver or the drunk guy that was at the cemetery. Jason's dad Elias came to him to check on the site on Pamela and Jason's graves. But the rumor was he was the one that had the Necronomicon to resurrect Jason again. That he was a part of the whole cult and everything. So yeah, Elias was an interesting character. He was a piece of shit, but he was an interesting character though. His backstory was pretty interesting.
It would be interesting too if Ash is somewhere in the past or in the future with the Necronomicon time traveling, and in doing so, and he time travels back to that place in time where Jason is brought back to life, and doing so, the lightning shoots down at that exact moment and brings him back or something like that, or it changes fate. Right, because I think the rod fell in. Well, no, the rod got stabbed into his chest.
Yeah, Tommy stabbed him with it.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Evil Dead, before we get to Sarah's question about Jason and Michael, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. So right now, this is not fully updated. So I will give you the updated numbers for this. But let me, excuse me. Let me go ahead and click on this window here. So right now, worldwide, Evil Dead Burn is at $51 million after this weekend. So this number is not up to date. So right now it's listed as $35 million on there. But of the last 3 Evil Dead films, that opening weekend is the weakest with Evil Dead Burn. So it opened at $13 million. And then you look at Evil Dead Rise, opened at 24, and then the remake of Evil Dead opened up at 25. So the budget, you see a $20 million budget for Burn, so it's already made its money back. It's 100% over its production cost. So definitely reason to make Wrath, but seeing how poorly this is performing at the box office doesn't leave much hope that Wrath is going to do too much good here too. So like if Wrath fails, do we get a continuation of the Evil Dead story, which we'll probably talk about very soon. But not on this episode, but we'll talk about Evil Dead Burn spoilers soon. But I don't know if we're going to get a continuation of that Evil Dead franchise, depending on how the numbers look.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, awesome standalone horror film, horrible Evil Dead film.
Yep. That's really the best way to put it. Like we were talking, like Dave and I went to go see it on the ride home. I said the exact same thing, and we were in agreement. It's like as its own film, it's fine. It truly is because it could set off a new universe, but because it's a continuation of a universe that already exists, it's just so messy. It's so messy.
And then that after credit scene is there because executives requested it.
Of course they did.
Yep.
You're talking about you're talking about not the one with the crawling, but the one in the building.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. The thing that doesn't make any sense is because executives asked that to be in there, and that's what throws off the entire film. So I guess our executives that are involved in Evil Dead are seeing an Evil Dead universe, and that's why we see that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, like I get
why they brought that particular character back.
Exactly.
Evil Dead is the universe. You don't need to expand. You don't need to change things in order to make a universe. Yeah. That is why the universe has already been built. Follow the fucking pages.
Again, they should have brought a different person back. That would have made more sense. But yeah, that particular, even though I love that particular character, it just made no sense. Yeah.
Yep. We'll get into that in 2 weeks when we do our rankings. We'll go into spoilers then as well. All right, so before we talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason and Michael Myers, are they the same?
What does she mean by that? Like, as far as characteristics or dead eyes? What?
So Jason or Michael is just like, he's like theoretically possessed by the embodiment of evil, right?
Yeah.
That is also like it's a conduit of Sam Hain, who's a demon.
If you go based off the novelization that came out a year after the film, 1979 novelization, which is one, it's hard to find that book. I got lucky to find a first edition, second edition on eBay. In the book, it was explained exactly what Noah said, where basically he was the embodiment of evil, and his family lineage was a part of the cult of Thorn. And every first son, not firstborn son, but first son of the family were the ones that ended up getting possessed by said entity. And then also, one thing that I love that Rob Zombie did in his 2007 film, in the work print, it didn't make it in the final cut, was just like in that book, Michael chose not to speak anymore. It was his choice that he chose not to speak. And so he was basically, and Rob Zombie wrote it into the dialogue when he had Danny Trejo's character, Ishmael, tell Mikey, learn how to live in your head, you'll become unstoppable.
Yep.
So it was kind of the same thing in the novelization where Michael, as he got older, he was just listening to the voices in his head, and he was just, even as a kid, he did more damage as a kid in Smith's Grove than he did as an adult. You know, like he was just an evil little motherfucker, boy, going around killing folks in Smith's Grove. He even killed Dr. Loomis's wife. That's why Loomis ended up becoming so obsessed with him. The films didn't explain that, but the novelization and the comics did, where Loomis was actually married to I think she was a nurse or something, or a psychologist or something, and Michael killed her.
Now that should have been added to the films.
Yeah, Loomis just became totally obsessed with him after that.
So, as to what Jason is, though, I mean, like, yeah, you can go based off of Ginny's description in part 2, like he was just a wild boy that grew up in the woods. But like, again, how the fuck does Ginny know? Like that is all her speculation, and spinning like her idea of what she thinks it is. I don't think that we've ever actually gotten from Jason in 1 through 4. We didn't get a clear definition of what he was, whether or not he was a boy, like he didn't actually drown and he grew up like Ginny said, or he's undead of some nature. Like they never I don't think they ever specified.
Nah, we just went off of what Ginny said that he.
And then in 6, that's when he becomes the undead Jason. So he's like a zombie. I think they call him Zombie Jason. So it's like, but then I don't know when the theory started. Probably in 9. When they made Jason Goes to Hell, I would probably say that's when people are like, oh, maybe he's a Deadite. That's probably when it started.
Well, the director even said that. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah. And I would like to think that at some point, at some point he was definitely a Deadite. But we've never really gotten a clear explanation as to what Jason was. It's just, honestly, whatever you think he is, he can be for your imagination, because that's what I do. Like I've been calling him a Deadite. But honestly, if he is resurrected or they used something in the Necronomicon to bring Jason back, I don't know if he's a Deadite specifically. I think it's something different.
I think, unfortunately, I think the ship has sailed on really going down and exploring that part.
What does she mean they came out the same year? Friday 13 and Halloween?
I think it was a year off, right? Because Halloween came out in 78.
So Halloween came out in 78 and Friday 13 came out in 80.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
It was set in 79, but it was it came out in 80.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to our main topic here today. So 3 of us, so we get to fly through a little bit. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street. The film rights have been purchased from the Craven Estate by Paramount. They are bringing Freddy Krueger back to the big screen. People are wanting Robert Englund to come back. What?
Is because New Line has been working with Paramount, or New Line is a subsidiary of Paramount now, I think. Is Bob Shea going to be a part of it?
Well, Paramount is building a whole new genre division with the launch of Nightmare on Elm Street. It's called Paramount Primal. So they're going to focus on horror, comedy, and something else, and thrillers. But producing it will be the Craven Estate. So they're going to have a say on how that film is laid out. The one thing that made me very nervous that I heard, what I read today on, I think it was bloodydisgusting.com. Let me find this quote here, is that, let's see. Freddy Krueger's upcoming return is said to be set in the world of A Nightmare on Elm Street. That is, wordplay is key here. Set in the world of A Nightmare on Elm Street. What does that mean?
Does it mean that Freddy's not going to be in it?
No, I actually take that as like a twist on New Nightmare. So how New Nightmare took place in the real world and Heather Langenkamp was playing her real self. So maybe now this time this is set around a film of A Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy somehow is real in the film world of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Kind of like what the Scream series was going to do, where the new season was going to be the actors from the first 2 seasons playing those characters, but they're in the real world and the real Ghostface tries to kill them off one by one. That's how I took it. Maybe they're going that route or something.
Or they could also be exploring what Robert Englund has always wanted to do with Freddy Krueger, and that was that Freddy wasn't a single entity. He was different for every person that had a fear. That's what he embodied. He didn't have Freddy Krueger as that. He was a spirit that changed from person to person. So when they put
wasn't he?
What?
In the comics? Wasn't he a fear demon in the comics? Yeah.
Yeah, so
he became a fear demon in part 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and he morphed. So he morphed. He changed looks and stuff like that when he went. So almost like what they did in It, the movie there, where he embodied the fear for that. So that was the same premise that Robert Englund had in mind for Freddy Krueger too.
Kind of like
so it's like, yeah. So that kind of makes sense to me, where it says set in a world of Nightmare on Elm Street. But here's my thing, like, I think it's done. Like, I think the Bronze Age so we have the Silver Age of slashers and horror icons. I really think it's done, right? And so I'll play devil's advocate. We've tried it over and over with Michael Myers and failed. We've tried it over and over with Leatherface and failed. We can't say we tried it over and over with Jason because of the legal problems, but we tried it with Friday Nightmare on Elm Street before it failed. I think these guys are done. Like, I think the 80s horror icons are done. I think it's time to move on. I think as we try to recreate it, it's just going to get worse because the vote was put out there. Who do you want to see play Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger? And everybody voted for Robert Englund. The dude's too old. You have to.
Well, he even said though. He said he didn't want to. He didn't want to go sit through the makeup process. So when he did that episode of the Goldbergs, he said that because remember he came to Monster Mania before the episode of the Goldbergs, and he said that is his last time that he was going to go through the makeup process for Freddy. And then even after that, he said if anybody were to replace him, he personally wanted Kevin Bacon to play him. I feel like if they do choose somebody,
too.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon's too old, but even the person who I would think would be amazing as a Freddy Krueger, he may be considered too old, but he's just a fucking great actor, and that's Richard Brake. Richard Brake is just, even if a movie is crappy, Richard Brake is fucking amazing in everything that he does. Like from being the original Night King in Game of Thrones to Doom with The Rock to Barbarian to Three from Hell, Richard Brake, Supernatural. Richard Brake is awesome. So I think he would be pretty cool as a Freddy Krueger. Our personal friend, Mike Levy, actually portrayed a young Robert Englund, and his friends were Robert Englund. He actually looks like Robert Englund, but again, I feel like he portrayed too much like Robert Englund. And if they're going to go Freddy, I want them to go the original dark route that Freddy was in the first 2 films and the remake.
I think they need a short Freddy too. I want to keep consistent and have a short Freddy. I think it works for the character, especially when you put him up against brutes like Jason and Ash and all that. Like he's a Weasley little, kitty diddler that got justice served to him, and now he's back. I don't know. I like the idea that he's just a short little weasel that's all burned.
Honestly,
you're not supposed to like Freddy at all. Wes Craven said that he was like Freddy was not meant to. The way he wrote Freddy, he was supposed to be the most despicable character ever. He wasn't supposed to be liked, so that's how Freddy should be portrayed.
So Ty Lee throws out David Howard Thornton. I know Bill Skarsgård's been thrown out there as a possible replacement, but they also follow up with, I don't want someone to copy Robert's style. We need an all new actor with their own style, which we got. Jackie Earle Haley did a fantastic job. He was just in a horrible movie.
The movie was just crap.
It was a shitty retelling of the original movie, because it really is a shot for shot of the first one, just with a few extra steps and like I will say a good twist. I kind of like that they threw in the twist and then they're like yoinked it back out. I like that they did that, but it didn't matter because the rest of the movie was just a steaming dog pile. But yeah, I was gonna say Jackie Earle Haley's really the only person that I can think of that I would want to take the mantle of Freddy and do something with it, because he did a fantastic fucking job, and he deserves a second chance. I think. Same thing with Derek Mears as Jason. Like,
Jackie Earle Haley made me feel uncomfortable, and that's good. Yeah. That's not uncomfortable. He made me feel uncomfortable in the scenes.
The one thing I will say, and I credit him more so than the actual writing and directing of the movie, was for a minute Jackie actually made you feel like, wait, is he innocent? Like, did he really not do these things? He played that so well that you kind of felt bad for him. And then when Nancy found the picture, he's like, oh yeah, he did it. Like, he really did do it. He did. I credit him more so.
Not only did he do it, but then he doubled down in that scene. Like, he really went, like, you were like, you thought, now I'm going to make you feel bad for thinking I was nice.
Yeah. And then he brought his own take to the whole, like, how he was doing the gloves, and he would just run his nails together in his hand. And I thought that was pretty creepy, too.
So, to Ty Lee's point, I didn't mind the makeup because he actually looked like a third-degree burn victim. The only thing I did not like about the makeup was they CGI'd the hole in his face, and that stood out. But the actual makeup of making him look like an actual third-degree burn victim, I liked it because it looked realistic compared to the piece of makeup.
Here's another interesting dynamic. This is why I'm saying you gotta leave these characters in the past. You gotta move on from them now, I think. Because I don't think it's whatever we get for A Nightmare on Elm Street, if it's not Robert Englund, people are not going to be happy. Then to the point here that's being made is, what is the makeup going to look like? Do you make him look like Freddy Krueger? Do you make him look like a new burn victim, or does he look completely different? So that's another problem that you're throwing on there. There are so many layers. What?
You could do a blend of both.
Yeah, I feel like
you could make it look realistic, but then still give your artistic spin on it.
This is going to be this is going to be worse than Scream, I think, because we're going to have all the keyboard warriors come out there and they're going to annihilate whatever he looks like, whoever they cast. It's just going to be crapped on. I think the movie's going to I think it's going to bomb. Honestly, I tell you right now, I think A Nightmare on Elm Street remake is going to bomb, or a reboot, or anything that they want to do. I don't think it's going to take off because you can't. We talked about it at the beginning. You can't replace Robert Englund in this role, and that's what's going to hang over this film going forward. Like, if you want to do A Nightmare on Elm Street, you have to wait another 20 or 30 years and then come back to it. It has to be fresh out of people's minds.
But again, my vote is for Richard Brake, man, because even if you look at his Doomhead performance, that was a cross between Freddy and Joker. You know, and he played it brilliantly. Like, Richard Brake, man, that dude, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves as an actor.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but he's also 61.
Yep.
But he's still a bad dude, though, man. Look what he did in 3 from Hell. Again, like, Freddy's not like my top guy, like, he never will be, but like, to have the gold that was produced from the late 70s to, like, you could say the early 2000s if you want to include like you have all of these amazing characters that you could very easily blend into one universe, and you just you're gonna have that opportunity wasted.
because people with the wrong intentions or with the wrong creative mindset are in control of these projects. And that's the problem, is that you could easily do everything that we're talking about and not have to worry about the fatigue of these characters. However, when you do things like the Angry Orchard Jason, or instead of letting the creators of Never Hike Alone have the reins at making a Friday the 13th film with a budget, or you decide to bring back the original writer for Scream 7 instead of having Danny make a film, or any other creator of a Scream film that has come, a fan film that's come out, it's very possible that we could get exactly what we wanted and not have to worry about these characters falling apart and their franchises and universes falling apart. But it's just the wrong people at the helm. So I don't know. I don't want to give up on these characters. It sucks to give up on these characters, but I don't know.
This is what I feel. Go ahead, Dave. I was going to say this is what I feel. Oh shit, we did it again. Go ahead.
Rock, paper, scissors.
All right. I'm gonna say there are actors that have nailed Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in independent and fan films.
Yeah.
Not only in look but also in voice. So if you truly wanted this to succeed, you would have to do the same exact Freddy Krueger in look and in sound, I think, and that's the only way it works.
I was going to say, shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, never mind. Forgot what I was going to say. Wait.
While you're thinking about that,
so
Sarah,
I know what I was going to say. I feel, because it'll be a few years before we probably get this movie.
Yeah.
What is going to determine whether or not it's really going to happen and be successful is how Curry Barker handles Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Because you're taking an old IP, and he's bringing it back. So to see how he takes an old IP and try to make it fresh again, and whether it's going to be a sequel or a remake or reboot, that is going to determine how they'll handle a Nightmare on Elm Street, I think.
You have three major, potentially, for some people, three of their Mount Rushmore legacy characters all getting something, whether it's a show or a movie, at relatively the same time. This is probably the last chance.
All four, because Halloween is getting another film.
Halloween is getting
so this right here, what you're seeing, this is probably the last hurrah. And if it doesn't go well, then it's probably going to be done for quite a bit.
I have to agree there. Halloween, after the Halloween trilogy that we just got, I'm not interested in seeing another Halloween film, another timeline, or another remake of the film. This is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre now. How many times are you going to tell me the same damn story? I'm tired of it. I'm done. I don't want to see Laurie Strode no more. I don't want to see Jamie. I definitely don't want to see Jamie Lee Curtis. I do not want to see her in another Halloween film. I'm so sick of her in the films.
Dude, that's why I'll go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's why I always go back to the 2003, 2006, and then the comic book that followed those movies. So basically, that was the perfect trilogy for me with regard to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, yeah. But we'll see what Curry Barker does, man. I'm actually curious to see, because I'm not excited for it, but yet I like his writing style. I like what he did with his YouTube stuff. I loved Obsession. So I'm hey, he might come up with something awesome and new for Texas Chainsaw and make Leatherface scary again. So we'll see. Oh, to answer Sarah's question, Matthew Lillard. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I would rather Matthew play some totally other sick psycho than try to tackle Freddy. Because I feel his persona now, because he's not as wild and crazy as he used to be when he was younger. But now his personality and stuff is still a light switch where he turns it on and off. We saw it in Daredevil. We saw it in I don't know if you watched him in season 2 of Cross, where he was a Epstein type of character. He's more reserved, but yet a calm but before the storm now. So I would rather him be some type of different type of killer than tackling Freddy with the wisecracks and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the episode of Criminal Minds where he's a serial killer that's mentoring a young serial killer, absolutely terrifying. Like, he is evil in it, and you can feel the evil off the screen. So I would agree with you there. I would like to see him in a new role with a new character. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I'm at the point where I think I'm tired of the original Mount Rushmore, the Silver Age of horror icons. Like, I think they're done. Like, we saw it with the original. Like, the Golden Age was Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, right? How many times have we gotten retellings of those stories and they just don't hit the same?
I think she's talking about C. Thomas Howell. I think is what she's talking about. Sarah from Criminal Minds. I forgot his character's name. Fouché, something like that. But yeah, that was C. Thomas Howell from the Outsiders. Patrick Swayze. He was Ponyboy.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, are you guys excited for it? Is it a wait and see?
Yeah, wait and see, depending on who they cast in.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street's not really it's not really my thing. Like, I'm interested in the idea of like progressing the story of the character for the story's sake. But other than that, like, I have to like really like, if you're gonna do something that route, like if you want to go into the depravity of the character, then it's also something I'd have to really like work myself up to. Because like The Crow is one of my favorite movies, but it's not something I can just sit down and watch whenever I want to. Like, that's some heavy fucking material. So, like, if you really do, like, if I went back and rewatched the 2009, 2010 version, and I was watching it solely based off of the performance and the storytelling by Jackie Earle Haley's performance, then I would have to also work myself up to it, because I know the shit that they go into with his specific performance and how he portrays it. So it's like, I don't know. Friday the 13th, the Camp Crystal Lake show, that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. But everything else that we've discussed, not really. No. Nightmare on Elm Street, like, I'll keep an eye on it. That's really it, though. But like,
I really think, like, out of all of them, Jason's the only one that can stand the test of time, because, like we were talking about earlier, he's zombie Jason now, right? So that story can continue at Camp Crystal Lake, where everybody else, they've aged out and they're done.
Again, it depends on, like Noah said, like, which version of Freddy are we going to get? Are we getting comedic Freddy? Are we getting the dark and twisted Freddy? Are we getting child predator Freddy, or just child murderer Freddy? Like, which version are we getting of Freddy? You know?
Let's keep in mind, you can still be a depraved piece of shit and have humor in your dialect, right? Like, that would just make his character that much worse in that much worse in a storytelling sense. Like, so like, you could absolutely still have a sadistic, creepy Freddy that's also still like cracking jokes, because he's a creep. So I don't see why he wouldn't.
I didn't even think about that one.
Here's a suggestion that Marcus is oohing on about. Ronan Campbell should play Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. He would be a good young Freddy. Yeah, I can see that, man, because I liked him in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Dude, I have to watch that movie again. I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie was so fun. That was so fun. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was just a fun film.
Oh, it's a fun movie. It's definitely a fun movie.
He was awesome. Yeah, he was awesome in it too. And I'm glad that it was. I liked him so much in it that he, it wasn't his fault what Halloween ends. You know what I mean? But that definitely cleaned the palette of Halloween ends. So Rohan, that's a good casting choice right there. Yeah.
Maybe we get a prequel. Like, maybe that's where they go. We do a prequel before we actually even get anything like that. But then maybe I would prefer a TV series of a prequel.
Because there's a YouTube series, I forgot the channel, but there's an awesome YouTube series that's a prequel before he gets burned. So when he was a child predator, so he portrayed being the friendly neighbor and everything, but yet he was a child predator, or like Noah called him a diddler. So, and that dude, the way that dude played him was like, woo.
Trying to stay within the bounds
I try not to say it. Yeah. So, Rohan will be an awesome young Freddy. And then if we saw that abused version, Freddy being abused by his adopted father and everything, we get that story. Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Wasn't that Richard Brake?
Series.
Wasn't that Richard? No, it was
it's
Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I honestly think, like, if you're bringing back a Nightmare on Elm Street, you bring it back as a TV series, do the prequel, and then you maybe work up to Freddy coming back. I think that's the only way it works.
Yeah, because I mean, other than comic books, they've really not touched up on it, and I feel like that's the like, you have a lot of story there. Because you have everything that he does, the buildup of everything that he does. So you have him working up towards like his first kill out, and like whatever you want to specify, however you want to specify it. You have the story progression of that. Then you have everyone finding out. You have the trial, which we know leads to a mistrial. So you have to find that there's that, and then you have the build up to him dying. And
that's
then
2 seasons. At least 2 seasons.
Like, you have content there. Like, you have loads of story for that alone. Yeah, 2 seasons definitely. And then if you want to have a whole thing to where he does it, like, you could have a half a season where he's becoming the new nightmare demon Freddy Krueger and working up to being in people's dreams, because we know people need to fear him fully to be able to harm them. So, like, to see the workup of that, like, that's a half a season to a season potentially. Like, if you do a whole season trying to get
his daughter properly, you can introduce his daughter properly.
That is true. Yeah. There's so much. Yeah, there's so much that you could get before you even take Freddy Krueger out and make him a demon.
Yep. Like Daniel Wilson here. We need a Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street video game. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's interesting too, because, like, realistically, there are so many routes you could take it for either a story in a story mode or a multiplayer game. Like, there's a lot you could do with it that's not just, like, finding these items and escaping. Like, it would be so cool to see how they could incorporate new stylistic choices of leaving the dream world.
Yeah, I would like to see it done like Until Dawn and in those type of games. Do it a story-based mode where your actions change the outcome of what's happening. That would be perfect.
I think you should get far less time for choices, though. Really make sure that you're like, you have like 5 seconds to choose what you're going to do, because or else the entire map changes.
I think so. All right, gents. I know it's a short episode. It's only 3 of us this week. It's very little news that was out there that was worth talking about. So that's what we got.
Oh, there's one more. There's one more.
What do you want?
They got the official date for the Hellraiser game.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, wow.
October 15th.
What's the date?
October 15th, the same day that Crystal Lake comes out.
Okay. Yeah. Do we know about Alien Earth Season 2? When's that happening?
They're filming it now, so it probably won't come out until next year.
I
know they take time.
I want a follow-up to Romulus. Like, what's going on with that? Romulus was so damn good.
They already confirmed. it. So they already.
Oh, yeah?
They just didn't say when it's going to come out, but they did confirm the sequel to Romulus.
I got an answer to this. So there is a Child's Play video game that's out there. On our Nerdbox channel, if you look up Lost Horror Media and put the Chucky game in there, there is a completed Chucky video game that is out there. I think you can find a torrent for it and you can actually play it. It's got rave reviews. It looks fantastic from the scenes and the images that I saw of it, but there is a Chucky video game that was created. I would wish that somebody would come along, give them money to finish doing whatever they need to do for it and put it out there, because it looks amazing.
Any more news on the new project movie?
No, that Chucky's going to be more terrifying than ever before. So
that doesn't really.
We'll see. Like, Chucky's always hit and miss.
All the time. That's like the phrase.
Like The Curse of Chucky, fantastic.
And The Curse of Chucky, yeah, those are the only three that I like.
Yep.
Chucky never gripped me. Like I watched the first 3 movies and that was it. Like I have not, like nothing else interested in me. I didn't feel like getting into the other ones.
He messed me up as a kid in the second.
I watched it as a kid.
Yeah, the second one, he was a little bit more like Freddy. Like he was darker. Like they made him a darker character in the second film compared to the first one.
Yeah.
And then after that, it just until the curse.
Child's Play 2 is the first slasher movie that I ever seen in theaters. I had to sneak into the movies because I was too young to see it, but this is the first movie that I seen in theaters. So that has a special place in my heart. But it's another one, like Curse of Chucky was so good, and then they followed it up with Cult, and it just went completely in the toilet again. So it's just like, it's like, what are we going to get? Now it's one of the most consistent franchises, too, where they try to keep everything connected. But like I'm kind of getting tired of the silly Chucky too, you know.
Now the question is, with this, is Brad Dourif going to voice him again, or are they going to somebody else?
Brad Dourif's staying. Yeah.
No,
he's retired. Brad Dourif is retired, and he will only do Chucky going forward.
I feel like they're probably going to eventually just set it up to where, like, when he's like done, I assume his daughter is just going to take over.
I'm not mad at that. I love Fiona. Fiona is awesome.
Real
she
nice
was like
too.
the best thing about that season when she played Charles Lee Ray. She's the best thing about the show when they brought her in. So
yeah, so that's the news, I guess. Like when it comes to the slashers, like I think Candyman's officially done. We'll probably never see another Candyman, so that one is gone forever. Rise of Leslie Brennan, we talked about that last week, so that'll be interesting to see where that comes from. No real big major news around Terrifier 4. We would kind of get a little bit of a word before anybody else. If we were able to talk about it, we would. So maybe we'll have an episode on that. But in 2 weeks, we're going to rank the Evil Dead franchise. So everybody, tune in for that. That's going to be a fun episode because we're going to try to include the TV show in there too. So, and then we'll probably do a little bit of a deep dive while we're talking about the franchise and what everything means now after Evil Dead Burns. So that will be a little bit of a spoiler episode. But that's it. That's all we got, guys. I'm going to put this out there again, hopefully. That's a Ouija board from the 1960s or early 70s. So we're going to be doing our own film. So we're working on that as well. So hopefully that'll get off the ground. We'll hear some news about that. And then we'll be talking about the board game. We're looking to go back to the drawing board to come up with a less expensive, less premium board game for the movie stream. So we're not done with that yet. We're just going to circle the wagons, come back with something a little bit better. And that's it, guys. So we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you for tuning in this week. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, and we'll see you next weekend.
Everybody be safe.
Oh, my screen has frozen.
And be sure to stage your houses now that you've been cursed by the Ouija board.
Somebody's beeping.